name is Aoife Dean and this is the Happy Weight podcast. Today my co-host seems to be Jasper, this little king over here. If you're watching on YouTube, Jasper is going to keep me company. But sometimes when I'm on calls and doing anything related to work, I get really loud and passionate, and then that scares the cats off. So let's see how long he lasts. So today I wanted to talk about the things we're going to come up against, whether we're on the injections or not. So if you're on one of the GLP-1 inhibitors, Ozempic, Mounjaro, any of those, and if you're not on them, it's still kind of the same journey we have to go through the same journey, basically. Obviously, the injections are an incredible jump forward for a lot of people, but sometimes they're not the whole picture. And today I'm going to chat about how they can almost set some people back in a mindset side of things. And I want to chat about those challenges we face and how we can get over them. So first of all, I just want to chat about a little story that happened in the last week. So I'm recording this the day after Cork lost their hurling final, which is really sad. And I'd love to know what went on in the dressing room at halftime, because I'm like, there must have been some difference between those motivational speeches to the team. So I had clients going to that, of course, and I had clients getting the train up to Dublin to see it. And that's one of the things that I do on my calls with clients, is that we're chatting about the last few days and we're chatting about the days to come. And I was chatting with one of my clients about basically helping her visualize how the weekend of going up to the hurling match would go. And that would be if we're avoiding the all or nothing approach. So the all or nothing approach would be dieting, bringing soggy, warm, bruised apples and yogurts on the train, and having a protein bar when everyone else is at the chip van, and silly things like that, which leads us to a high risk of what I call double dieting, which is where you have all your staple diet foods and then you crash and cave anyways at some point and join in with the eating everyone else is doing. So you've just added an extra layer of diet food calories, and all calories contribute to our weight. So I think that double dieting approach does not help anything. And then, of course, the other approach, if we're only used to ever doing things like trying to be good or on the wagon, off the wagon, would be sure feck it, it's an All-Ireland final, this never happens, so whatever the hell I eat and drink doesn't matter. So completely being unconscious. And of course, that's not a great feeling when you're coming home from Dublin on the train or in the car or the next day. That heaviness, and to think a lot of it was probably not even crazy memorable and enjoyable. So with this client anyway, I was kind of saying right, what's the crack? What time do you have to leave your house to be at the train, and what are your options there? If that was me, I'd be probably very stressed and busy and doing some last minute packing, and would all be a rush before I left the house. So, will it be that kind of vibe, or will you have time in the morning to be relaxed, and would you rather have your breakfast on your own turf and enjoy it there or whatever? Or would you rather be settled on the train and have a nice pastry and a cup of tea or something once, the journey is behind you to the train station, you've got the train, all that stress is over you, and now you just have the 2 hours or whatever on the train to enjoy your breakfast. And the same up in Dublin, I was asking her all the key points of the day, as in, what do you envisage is happening? Are you getting off the train and meeting friends at the pub? Are you going out for lunch? What's the crack? This was Saturday. So then what's the crack Saturday night? All the kind of timestamps, because basically it's a really good relationship with food that leads to a healthy weight would be prioritizing the best. And the best at any given moment keeps changing, right? Because when I'm talking about the best with eating, I could mean the best socially. Someone's made you a lovely sandwich and it would be nice to enjoy the sandwich with them, rather than say no to the sandwich and bring out a box of diet food or something you prepared earlier. The best food in a moment could be nostalgia. Maybe you're never in Mayo, and whenever you're in Mayo, there's this lovely place that you love to go to and you eat this lovely thing. Or tradition, on Saturday nights, you always do this. Or emotional needs, something that will really help our mood in the moment. Or, of course, a main one, nutritionally, maybe we need something right now that will make us full, make us energized, make us feel well in an hour or two's time. So the best option food-wise is never black or white. Like, there really is no such thing as good foods, bad foods, if we've got a good relationship with food and we've a healthy weight and a healthy approach to food. So I was kind of just explaining to her that, like, the reality of the modern world now, right, is that her healthy day at the match compared to before might look like pastry and a coffee or something in the morning, a carton of chips and red sauce at the match or something, like 3 pints of Coors or whatever she drinks, and then maybe, I don't know, a hot dog or something on the way home. And like, say, for a lot of the clients I work with, we're little women who are like past the age of 40 or coming up to 40 or whatever. So our energy needs, like, in some cases are not crazy high. So I was telling her that, like, that would be a day that you actually throw nutrition out the window. And I know that does not sound like a dietitian-y thing to say, but our number one problem, really, nutrition-wise in Ireland, is weight. Like, over 3/4 of our population are overweight or obese. So we have to think that, like, not overeating is the main health priority with nutrition. And a lot of us are learning nutrition through the lens of fear. And that's a real all or nothing mentality with food and good day, bad day, and insinuates that our body is so strict. Like, there's no possible way your body could survive with a day with less protein, or your body could survive a day without your 5 fruit and veg a day. But, like, actually our body is way more sounder than that. And, like, she was even saying it to me, oh, I thought I'd been eating, you know, I'll bring all these protein snacks and everything. And I'm like, look, we're in Ireland, where a starter could be a block of cheese deep fried, or a starter could be a bowl of chicken's wings. Like, we're doing grand for protein. There's no fear of us with protein. So in terms of calories, which on some days has to be overall has to be a little bit of a consideration. Well, in those days, you think about priority. You think about what are the calories most important to you or most memorable on a day like that. And then what are the things that are not worth it to you? Because I guarantee you, how she ate that day versus how someone in a good day, bad day mentality, who would have maybe either went in with the approach of, oh, I'll be good, and then a few hours in being, screw it, that's not possible. Or someone who's like, oh, sure, this weekend is off anyway, hung for a sheep as a lamb. Those groups of people would have eaten a hell of a lot more calories, taken in a lot more fat, salt, saturated fat, etc. than my client. So this is the kind of mentality we need to have if we're eating in the modern world, 2025, where you have to be a competent eater. It's not an option to just pretend that you don't need chips, especially if you like them, especially if history suggests you like getting chips at a chip van, or you like drinking a drink at a match, or whatever it is. It's like, so many people have so much waste in their diet, stuff that they don't like, that doesn't taste good, that doesn't make them feel good. And that can go first. And then we keep our priority things. And with her and with every client I work with, there's no fear of her. Like, it's not as if she's going to have that diet for the rest of the week when she comes home. Like, as in, of course she'll want fruit and veg. And of course she's not drinking like alcohol every day or every afternoon. Like, that was a specific occasion where things change around and the priorities for food that day were based on different things than the average. So now let's talk about whether or not we're on the injectables, challenges we're going to face. So I've worked with people in kind of every stage of the injection. Either like they went on the injection, it didn't work, or they couldn't face the morning sickness feeling all day, every day. You know, it didn't agree with them, kind of thing. Or I've, worked with people who've done my program in conjunction with the injection. I've worked with people after the injection. And then, I suppose we're 2 years into those weight loss injections. So you, as well as I, know so many stories from friends or family or whoever who are on the injections and have their stories about them. But one thing I notice, right, is that if we are to get out of a weight problem, it will be despite all the noise in the world. It will be despite all the diet chat, all the stuff like controlling our choices and putting this kind of almost duty around food that you should be eating this and you should be eating that. And that's that kind of duty and heaviness around food really leads to like an overeating, binge, out of control mentality with food at another part of the week. So that will always be the case. If you're willing to have a portion of your week or your month where you're in control, you're going to have to be okay with even more time being out of control. And so what I was talking to a client this morning, and she's been on the injection now 5 weeks. And what's so weird is that it's actually set her mindset back. And this can happen a lot, right? Because sometimes depending on the clinic or the doctor you're working with that's prescribing the injection, some people are being put on a super like low calorie diet and a really restrictive diet, which is horrible, right? Because no one really gets into extensive eating and weight issues without being on diets. Like diets are the cause of out of control, crazy, uncomfortable, guilt-ridden, shame-ridden eating that causes major weight problems. So to be put on this injection and then to be put on a strict diet as well is just horrible. And like when my clients are doing well, and say when this client is doing well, she's back into thinking about what is my persona? What is the persona I want with food? Because even say when I was studying, when I was getting the dietetics degree and when I was getting the master's in nutritional medicine, it's not as if the lecturers walked in one day and was like, right, the baddie is this. This is the bad food no one should be eating. And this is the bad food that causes all problems. That doesn't happen in academia. That happens on Instagram nutrition. Instagram nutrition will be like, you can't have this and you should have this. And that's not really science and biology. So actually, and you know this from your own life, I'm sure you know at least one person that is a healthy weight, or maybe even like a weight you would like to be or something, and you actually see them eating chips, you see them eating desserts. So we can't really say that all slim people don't eat chips and all overweight people do eat takeaways every night, because that is not true. There are a lot of people with healthy diets who are overweight. So our weight is always down to overeating or not overeating. So like I said, when a client is doing well, they're back into the feeling state of being their ideal weight and going around their life, going around their day, acting like, in my case, it was like acting like my slim best friend. Like if my slim best friend was in a restaurant and if she wanted pizza, would she allow herself get pizza or would she get herself the polar opposite? No, she would order the pizza. She would enjoy the pizza. She would not feel guilt or shame. And she would have no intention on using the pizza to feel bad, i.e. she was not going to be making herself sick with it. She was not going to be making herself uncomfortable with it. The point of food is that you feel better after it. When I'm teaching my clients the kind of like attitude, the relationship and everything to have with food, like first of all, once you're in that frame of mind, there is no hard work. So the hard work is getting into that frame of mind and staying in that state of mind. But when people go on the injections, like I said, depending on the doctor they're going to see or whatever, they could be put on a strict diet. So their mindset is rewound back to, oh, the rest of the world can enjoy food, but if I eat it, I'm a failure, I feel guilt, I feel shame. And then the other thing is the weighing themselves. So whether it's the GP, the clinic you're getting prescribed from, they might be seeing like, okay, if you're going to be paying €300 a month or whatever it is every month, like, is this working? We want to see it. But I would say in most cases, people aren't going to be seeing their GP more than once a month. And that is more than enough to be weighing yourself. So I was saying to this client this morning, again, nothing has changed since you have been prescribed this injection. All the rules still apply of what we were working on before you were ever on the injection. So another major thing, of course, that will happen with the injection is your appetite, if you're lucky, if it's taking effect, will plummet. And this is another thing that's the same whether or not we're on the injection, because I'm not saying it would happen without the injection, but I'm just saying when we start being conscious of our appetite, your belly might not rumble as often as you think it would. Like, so in terms of if we're thinking that I only need to eat when my body asks me for food, like when my stomach asks me for food, that's when I eat. If I have any more triggers for eating, maybe that's comfort, and maybe I deserve to properly self-soothe and not get myself into situations where I'm constantly very moody or sad or whatever it might be, like almost working on separating mood from stomach hunger is a big one. It's a big journey I go on with all of my clients as well. It is quite common that if someone's gone way past their natural weight, their belly is not going to be rumbling that often. They're not like a lot of my clients would be on like just the way that their belly and their appetite works. They're hungry twice a day. They have a mid-morning meal and they have a supper. And that's usually it. When they're listening to their body, that's all they really need. And this is the thing, like how I started seeing it for myself when I was overweight is like, I've technically done all the eating. Like I am fueled up. Like every pound of fat we have is 174 teaspoons of sugar waiting to happen. So we're grand for fuel. Like obviously there's a few little nutrients and things that we do need every day. Otherwise we'd be very, very unhealthy. But I would say if we're gone well past our natural weight, the main priority now of food is just our behaviors and pleasure. So it might be that like twice a day, 3 times a day, you know, we do get a reward from eating. So we just want to like play ball with getting that reward from eating 2 or 3 times a day. What my client had started reverting back to when she started the injection was kind of duty eating. Like, I should eat this. I should eat this. So she had started elbowing back foods into her diet that were not based on internal signals. So children under 7 are the group who are most likely to be a healthy weight. And that's because children under 7 are mainly tuned in to their internal environment. So it's kind of like you can't force breastfeed a baby, as far as I know. Like if that baby is hungry, the whole house, the whole street will know about it. If that baby is full, you won't be able to really give it more. So kids, and especially the younger they are, they will not be pushing into discomfort. And then as adults, we've learned to suppress discomfort, suppress hunger, and just use our mind to decide whether it's right or wrong to eat. And that is always where disordered eating and weight problem comes in. When we are deciding with our mind, I should be eating this, I should be eating at this time, regardless of how my stomach feels, regardless of how my taste buds feel. And we have to keep it very like basic with food, that if we want to lose weight, just like you can't put on more jumpers to get colder, you can't be adding in foods into your diet to lose weight. And I know someone else would be like, oh, well, if you eat high fiber foods, well, then you won't want to snack on crisps and chocolate. Well, that either works temporarily or it's not something that works for an emotional eater. As emotional eaters, if we want chocolate, by God, we will be getting our hands on chocolate. So again, eating grams and grams of fiber to try and make us pretend that chocolate exists isn't going to work for an emotional eater. So with that client, the first reminder I had for her was get back to reviewing your diet, everything you ate over the last 2 weeks, and what was not your food. What was something that you ate that it actually in no way helped your mood. It in no way helped your energy levels. It in no way was a taste that you really loved and were looking forward to, or was a feeling that you or and it didn't put a good feeling in your belly, basically. So I would kind of say that our diet fills up with other people's foods. And when I realized that for myself, I was like, what a crap reason to be, you know, I was 3 sizes bigger than I am now. What a crap reason to be bigger than I want to be because I'm eating foods other people say that I should eat rather than foods that actually taste good to me and I actually feel good eating them and feel well afterwards or served a purpose emotionally or whatever it might be. So that was the first thing I got her to do. The second thing was the weighing herself, of course. So I was like, okay, if your doctor has to do that, grand, let them at it. But again, the only way that you will ever become and stay happily ever after with a good relationship with food and a healthy size or a healthy body weight or whatever will be because of your attitude, your approach to food, your persona with food, your persona with your body. It's always mixed in with confidence, self-esteem, self-respect, how you treat yourself, how you wish to feel, and the discomfort mentally or physically that you're not willing to put up with anymore. And I would say the person we want to become with our eating and weight at the end of 2025 or by 2026, like us thinking about that and us trying to be that person today, that is a hugely different goal than how can I be 1 pound down by Thursday on the scales? Like, that is so like cutting the lawn with a nail clippers. It's so like in the problem, and you're staying in the heaviness, and you're not really seeing the overall picture. Like, as in, if I control my foods today, and if they've cake at work for the birthday, but I say no and I stick to my lunch, it's like that's all willpower. It's all hard work. And it's even depressing to think about, you know, because how you lose weight is how you have to keep it off. So if it's that level of control and detail and scales watching every day, I'm like, I don't think that's you thinking about the actual goal you have, you know, which is, like I said, a good relationship with food and feeling well in your body. Like I said about, say, your slim best friend ordering pizza, people without weight issues are eating to feel better afterwards. That is a big difference than eating foods we think we should eating foods in a way that results in us feeling uncomfortable, or eating food and then justifying the need for guilt or shame or any of those things. So that was another one. I told her to stay away from the scales and work on, how do you want to feel 20 minutes after a meal? How do you want to feel by 1 p.m. today? How do you want to feel by 5 p.m. today? What would you need to do to feel well by 5 p.m. today, by 10 p.m. tonight, by 15 minutes time? What would you need to do or not do so you can feel the way that you want to feel? And then the next one, we're all like, everyone is at risk of this, yet again, injection or no injection, is Instagram and Reels and social media. And so this girl was told, this happened to two of my clients actually, they were told the expected weight loss in a month. And that screwed them up, because if you have like low self-confidence, if you've been burnt a lot before with trying to lose weight, you're like, oh crap, that's everyone else. Everyone else is going to get those results. But what about me? And the injection, of course, is a like potent, powerful medication. But I am telling you, the human brain can sabotage and work against anything. When I was a student dietitian, we'd be driving around, like I'd be shadowing a community dietitian going to people's homes. And I remember visiting people who had got stomach stapling surgery. So their stomach was down to the size of a yogurt pot. And they were melting Mars bars and they were crushing Doritos into dust so that they could jam more food in there. So this is the whole thing, like whatever our issue is, whether it's drinking too much, eating too much or whatever, it's not a physical thing, basically. It's not that your stomach size is wrong or your appetite is wrong or anything like that. It's all of our mind over matter things. It's all of our, you know, all the messed up stories we basically have about ourselves, our eating and our weight. I was kind of saying to this client, like, again, with or without the injection, the only way you're going to overcome this is you stay in your own lane. It will be despite all the noise that's out there. So I remember it was very freeing for me. You know, I'm sure I've chatted about this before, but I had this eureka moment. It was probably 2010 and I was doing my usual binge eating after work in the serviced offices. And I was probably after chocolate bar number 4 or 5 and I felt physically perfect. And for whatever reason, I had a little miracle moment where I thought, maybe all the advice out there doesn't apply to me because no one else has ever been in my body. No one else knows what foods taste like to me. No one knows what my appetite is like. No one knows how much food it takes me to feel full or how long it takes for me to get hungry. This is all me and my body, and all the information out there I can take with a pinch of salt, but it ultimately does not apply to me at all. And so I was like, 2 things to that girl. I was like, first of all, change your algorithm, you know, change the algorithm. I think Jasper wants me to say to cute cats, because, you know, we are getting some little bit of dopamine. Like if we're looking at these people on strict diets, on the injection, and they're losing weight, you see, there's a little boost of hope, like there's a little boost of dopamine. But ultimately, I think an hour, 6 hours time later, you're still thinking about it, but it's just in a comparison feeling kind of shit way. So comparison is the thief of joy. if we're emotional leaders, we need as much joy as possible. We can't be giving away joy by having comparison. So it's like clean out your social media for that reason, and also swap it for something else that might give you dopamine or happiness or whatever else. And then the other reason I was like is super important, and it's so easy to forget this. Like with every client I work with, I kind of have to remind them of this fact every single week. If it was a year later, 5 years later, and you already were at your ideal weight, would your algorithm look like this? If you were a person who had no eating and weight issues, would your algorithm look like this? And if the answer is no, we're keeping the problem alive. You know, it's just like if you go into work messy and sloppy and late and rude to your boss and rude to your colleagues, yeah, that's grand. Do what you want to do, but don't expect a promotion. And it's kind of the same with our weight issues. Like if we keep acting like someone with a weight problem, yeah, that's grand. It's a free country. It's our life. We can do whatever the hell we want. But we can't be expecting the behaviors and the results of someone without a weight problem if we keep keeping in our life things that suggest a weight problem. So like I said, our algorithm is all weight loss stuff, or we've slimming club cookery books, or we've a weighing scales, or we've a pair of trousers that cut into our waist. I remember I had a yellow dress in my wardrobe, so every morning I'd open my wardrobe and I'm like, oh, I'm fat, I can't fit into that. And we just have these post-its all around our life of, oh, in case for a second you forgot, you're the wrong weight. And we need to get rid of those post-its around our life so we can elevate ourselves mentally to kind of the vibration, whatever you want to call it, of someone without a weight issue. So we have to be quite cutthroat with looking around our day, looking around our life, looking around our Instagram, and asking ourselves, does this match someone who does or does not have a weight problem? So yeah, I think I covered it all, actually. I think that covers most things. I forgot to say in this one as well, of course, please like and subscribe. Please share this podcast if you can. Please give it a review. I love being here with you, especially if it resonates. It's so cool. It's very healing for me as well. Like, you know, going through all my own issues and, you know, all the advice out there making me worse. I would love if this advice was genuinely helping you to feel better. So yeah, catch me at happyweight.ie, and I would love to work with you one-to-one. And I also have online programs, generally starting from €99. So they could be an option too. And thanks so much and have a lovely week.